Many men believe that breasts are only a part of the female body tied to aesthetics or quick arousal. This is one of the biggest silent mistakes in intimacy, because when properly stimulated, breasts are not just an erogenous zone. They can actually be the key to deep, memorable, and even unexpected orgasms. But for lack of knowledge or patience, most men reduce this area to a quick detail instead of exploring it as a true portal of pleasure. Today, I'm going to reveal how to transform the simple act of touching her breasts into an experience of profound arousal and unforgettable connection. Hello, I'm Dr. Emily Carter, urologist and sexologist with more than 20 years of experience helping men and couples restore confidence, vitality, and pleasure in their intimate lives. Here on this channel, I speak clearly and scientifically about everything mature men need to know to become more complete lovers. So, if this type of content speaks to you, make sure to subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of the upcoming videos that could transform your intimacy. And of course, if this topic already sparked your attention, leave a like so I know you want more content like this. And stay with me until the very end, because what I'll share today is not just technique, it's science applied to intimacy, something that can forever change the way you touch the woman you love. Many men still believe that touching the breasts simply means placing a hand there and starting to stimulate. But neuroscience shows us that the female body doesn't work like an on-off switch. It needs context, time, and preparation. A woman's nervous system only shifts from guarded to receptive when she feels comfortable and engaged. Without this preparation, touch may be perceived as ticklish, uncomfortable, or even rushed. That's why the first key lies outside the breasts. Use your hands openly and broadly, sliding slowly across the chest, the ribs, and along the sides of her torso. This movement creates a sensory map that builds anticipation without being invasive. It's like opening the curtain before the show. Her body begins to prepare for something greater. Another essential detail is the skin around the breasts, so often forgotten. This region is highly sensitive, and when stimulated, it sends direct signals to the limbic system, the part of the brain responsible for emotion and memory. By investing time here, you create a growing field of arousal that will make all the difference once you reach the center. And don't limit yourself to your hands. Kisses on her collarbone, neck, and chest are like small bursts of desire that trigger vulnerability and trust. Studies in sexual psychology call this erotic vulnerability, the moment when a woman feels she can surrender because her partner is present and caring. It's in this state that touches stop being just physical stimulation and become proof of genuine desire. In summary, before you even touch her breasts, create the right environment. Very peripheral touches. Use your breath and your kisses as allies. Pleasure begins with anticipation, and the best lovers understand that the body responds far more intensely when it is prepared with patience. In the next few minutes, we're going to reveal how the way you hold a woman's breasts can completely transform the way she interprets your touch, not as something rushed, but as a silent declaration of desire and care. Most men touch breasts automatically, squeezing, pinching, or sliding their hands without much thought, believing that intensity equals pleasure. But the truth, proven by the neuroscience of touch, is that the female body responds far more to intention than to force. Every gesture is interpreted not just as physical stimulation, but as a silent message about how deeply she is desired. The key is to hold with presence, not just with your fingertips. Use your whole palm to support the natural weight of each breast, as if holding something precious. This full support communicates safety and tenderness. Unlike rushed or mechanical movements, think less about stimulating fast and more about transmitting desire through contact. While holding, alternate between gentle compressions and intentional pauses. This contrast activates nerve receptors progressively, creating waves of pleasure that build rather than scatter. It's not about manipulation, it's about rhythm, like a silent dance where each pause is just as important as the movement. Another crucial point is to observe her signals, changes in breathing, soft sounds, the way her body leans into you or presses closer. These are all green lights, confirming you're on the right path. If, on the other hand, her body pulls away or tenses, it's time to slow down. The biggest mistake most men make is ignoring these signs, but the unforgettable lover knows the female body speaks even without words. And there's one detail almost never mentioned: the energy of your gaze during touch. When you hold her breasts and keep eye contact, you build a psychological bridge that turns the gesture into something much deeper. In that instant, it's not just skin to skin, it's presence to presence. Now let's move on to one of the most sensitive and at the same time most neglected regions, the areola and the nipple. This is the point where many men go wrong, either by overdoing it or by doing too little. But when you learn to explore this detail with science and sensitivity, you discover the true path to provoking unforgettable orgasms. Few men understand that the areola can be just as sensitive, if not more, than the nipple itself. Science explains why. The so-called areola-nipple complex contains one of the richest clusters of nerve endings in the female body, directly connected to the limbic system, the brain region that processes pleasure and emotional memory. This means the way you touch here can create a lasting memory, either positive or negative. The first secret is not to go straight to the point. Many men rush in and pinch or squeeze the nipple right away, which can cause discomfort or even pain. Instead, start by exploring the areola with slow, circular movements using 1 or 2 fingers. Use a light spiral that approaches the nipple and then retreats, as if inviting rather than forcing. This gradual approach builds anticipation, and anticipation is fuel for desire. The second secret is in the support of the hand. Never pull the breast tissue without giving it support. Always keep your palm or fingers underneath the base of the breast, so the skin is never stretched uncomfortably. This kind of care communicates tenderness and builds trust. When you finally reach the nipple, think of it as a dimmer switch, not an on-off button. Begin with touches so light they're almost imperceptible. Then explore subtle variations, gently rolling it between your thumb and forefinger, alternating soft pressures, or even pausing so that only the warmth of your breath keeps the stimulation alive. This gradual progression helps the female brain interpret each stage as rising pleasure, rather than shock or discomfort. It's important to remember that every woman is unique. Some enjoy firmer stimulation, while others prefer almost no pressure at all. The key is in observing her response signals: quicker breathing, goosebumps, subtle sounds, or the way her body leans toward you. These are green lights, confirming you're on the right track. And if in doubt, ask. But before we continue, I really want to know if this content is making sense to you. If you're learning something new and valuable so far, show your support by leaving a like right now. It helps the channel grow and shows me that you truly want more content like this. And take a moment to comment below what topics you'd like me to bring in future videos. Your suggestion could turn into the next episode and help thousands of men striving to become more complete partners. Now let's look at a couple I worked with a few months ago in my clinic. James, 49, came to me with a common but painful dilemma. He said his wife, Linda, no longer responded as she used to when he touched her breasts, or even other more intimate parts of her body. He tried kisses, caresses, even variations in rhythm, but her reaction was always muted, almost absent. Linda, on the other hand, revealed that after 45 she began to feel her sensitivity diminish, and along with it came frustration. "It feels like my body no longer belongs to me," she said, with tears in her eyes. I explained to Linda that it would be essential for her to seek follow-up with her gynecologist. This would allow her doctor to carefully evaluate her hormonal needs, understand the changes her body was going through, and, if necessary, adjust treatments that could complement her intimate health. And for James, I made it clear this wasn't about lack of desire, but a natural change in Linda's body. With hormonal decline, especially after 40, many women face reduced lubrication and diminished sensory response, which can make regions that were once highly erogenous, like the breasts, far less responsive. It was then that I introduced the couple to a natural aphrodisiac gel that became the key to improving their intimate life. Its formula was developed to stimulate blood circulation in the female body, increasing lubrication and reawakening pleasure receptors that, over time, tend to become dormant. I recommended that James not apply it hastily, but instead integrate the gel into their ritual of kisses and caresses on the breasts, as if it were an invitation to rediscover each sensation together. A few weeks later, they returned to my office with a completely different glow in their eyes. Linda shared that, for the first time in years, she felt shivers running down her body just from the touch on her breasts. James added that it seemed as though every kiss now carried an echo, as if her body was responding just like it did at the beginning of their relationship. This is the kind of transformation that happens when you combine science, sensitivity, and the right tools. It's not about miracles, but about offering the body the ideal environment to respond the way it deserves. If you want to learn more about this natural gel that I have been recommending in my practice, I left a safe link in the video description and also a QR code here on the screen. That way, you can discover how many couples are already reigniting the intensity of their pleasure with this natural resource. Many men believe that creating pleasure through the breasts is simply a matter of manual or oral technique. But what clinical experience shows is that the emotional context carries as much weight as the physical stimulation. And this is where two underestimated elements come in: breathing and words. Breathing is a silent amplifier. When you sync yours with hers, you create a state of attunement that the female brain interprets as intimacy and safety. This effect is described in research on physiological coupling. Two bodies breathing together send signals of trust and bonding to the nervous system, releasing more oxytocin, the connection hormone. In simple terms, when she feels that you are breathing in the same rhythm, her body relaxes, her mind lets go, and pleasure flows with fewer barriers. Words, on the other hand, act as mental erotic triggers. And we are not talking about preset phrases or vulgar tones, but about intimate validation, genuine, simple comments. "I love feeling you this way. Your body drives me wild. This is the most beautiful place in the world for me." Transform physical stimulation into an emotional experience. Sexual psychology explains that female pleasure is highly responsive to verbal and emotional context. When she hears she is truly desired, the pleasure receptors in her brain become even more activated. Now imagine this scene. You alternate between soft and firm touches while bringing your lips closer to her ear. Your breath warms her skin, and in the silence you whisper something simple and genuine. The effect is immediate. She doesn't just feel your fingers or your mouth, she feels the emotional impact of your presence. That is the moment when pleasure multiplies, because her body and mind are working together. And this is exactly where the difference lies between an ordinary man and an unforgettable one, the man who knows how to turn the after into continuity. But there is still one last detail that can make all of this a complete ritual, and that's what we'll cover now. After everything we've explored so far, it's already clear how the breasts, often treated as mere preliminaries, can actually be an entire universe of pleasure and connection. When you begin to vary your touches, respect her timing, explore the areola and nipple with patience, use breathing and the right words, every gesture gains depth. And when post-touch is done with presence, in silence, or with embraces that prolong intimacy, the experience stops being just physical and becomes a ritual of trust and surrender. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these forms of touch do you believe is the most underestimated by men? Write your opinion in the comments. Your answer may open the eyes of other men while also showing me that you're truly committed to learning more. If this content made sense to you, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell. Here, I share weekly practical and scientific strategies to help men become more confident, complete, and present partners. And if you want to learn more about the natural intimate gel that I've been recommending in my practice to enhance female sensitivity and rekindle pleasure, I left a safe link in the description and also a QR code on the screen. This resource might be the very detail that transforms breast touch into something far beyond what you ever imagined. Remember, true pleasure isn't about technique alone. It's about what she feels when you're present. And when a man learns to combine sensitivity and respect, he stops being just another and becomes unforgettable.